This episode is not sponsored, but we encourage you to help support the small businesses, charities, and organisations that we mention. Hi everyone, welcome back to our circle. I'm Jess.
And I'm Rhiannon.
And for today's episode, we've got one of my dearest old school friends, Mia Heavens-Lang. Welcome.
Hello everyone.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me on, guys. I'm really excited.
So we've spoken throughout the pandemic, which has been really lovely to sort of check in with each other. And we've actually met up as well for a walk when that was allowed and possible, and that was really lovely. Mental health is something that's close to all of our hearts and has been a huge talking point during the pandemic. How have you coped during the pandemic with your mental health?
So unfortunately, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was actually made redundant. And I'd been there quite a while and things were going well. And, you know, I wasn't really expecting it, if I'm honest. So that obviously was quite hard for me. And then I have previously suffered with my mental health in the past. So that kind of triggered me off again. I was in quite a good place. So that was obviously quite difficult. Since then, I've kind of tried to pick myself up a bit and try and do as many things as possible, take my daily exercise, make sure I get out of bed in the morning, just doing things to kind of stimulate my mind and everything like that, and give myself a reason to get up, because it has been difficult. I've been trying to look for jobs, and I know that the job market is just impossible at the moment. I mean, I know a lot of people at the moment are really struggling to find jobs and stuff, and it can get you down. So I've just tried to pick up new hobbies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. A lot of people have lost their jobs. I personally have lost my job.
Yeah, same.
And literally looking for new jobs in what I was saying to someone the other day, that I've been speaking to recruiters, and they've said they've worked in this industry for 30 years, and they've been through recessions and everything. And they've never seen the job market in such a horrific state. So it's really difficult and quite demoralizing when you are looking for jobs every day, things that you might also feel overqualified for, but you're still applying for them and still not even hearing a response. It can be really, it knocks you, doesn't it? It knocks your confidence, your self-esteem. So that, I think a lot of people will be able to relate to that. You explained a couple of things that you use to combat that feeling. And I wanted to ask, do you feel like you're quite self-aware and good at recognizing when your mental health is declining? You say that you've suffered previously.
Yeah, I've had quite bad mental health probably since my late teens, I would say. I have gone through quite a lot of bad periods in my life, so I do know the warning signs. But I also think it's that thing of it's just difficult. I feel like some people, when they have, when they're going through a difficult time, they know they are, but you kind of spiral. And especially if there's nothing good going on at the moment, obviously it's difficult with the pandemic, and especially now with the weather, and we're on our third lockdown, so it's obviously really difficult. This is going on for a long time, and it can get hard. I haven't seen my boyfriend, I haven't obviously seen my friends, haven't seen my family, or I've seen my immediate family. My sister's away at uni, so it's just really difficult, really. But yeah, I think it is important to know when you kind of need to be right, I need to do something about this. And I did feel myself spiraling, so that's why I've really tried to, I don't know, just force myself out of bed, really, and force myself to even do the smallest things. I think it's so important to even if you just get up, have a shower, get dressed, go out for a walk, even if you don't make it for the walk, as long as you've got yourself out of bed and you've picked yourself up for the day, it can boost you so much. Even putting in a load of washing, or the smallest thing, is just to say I've achieved something in the day. And for me, that really boosts me.
It's hard. I completely agree. I think it's hard. I think it's really hard to just, like you said, doing the smallest things. They make such a difference, and yet it can be so hard to even do those things. And it's crazy, isn't it, to think, God, I don't want to get out of bed. But it's well, what for? What am I getting out of bed for? It's so easy to get into that mindset. And I think it's so hard to get out of it. I think it's amazing that you're able to recognize the warning signs, and then actively and consciously decide, right, I'm going to just do those things to get myself out of it, because I struggle a lot with that.
And also when a lot of people say, oh, just distract yourself or reach out to people that help you or distract you, like your friends and your family, and it's like, well, you can't see your boyfriend at the moment. He might have been like such a support system to you, just to have like a hug from him, but you haven't even been doing that. You have not been allowed to, I guess, with social distancing. So that is it takes such a toll, doesn't it, when you can't even have like that human contact that it might have really helped you before, really pulled you out of like a really dark kind of time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's obviously quite easy. I think even I like to give out advice to like my friends when they're feeling down, and I'm like, why don't you just do this, why don't you just do that? And it's kind of just like, I'm not really doing those things myself. So I think everyone wants to help each other, and everyone knows what is good for you. Like at the end of the day, everyone knows what is good for you to do every day. It's good for you to have a routine, good for you to have a healthy diet, all that kind of stuff. Everyone knows it. But whether or not you follow your own advice, that's another thing. And
that's I can so true.
I'm guilty of not following my own advice.
Oh, same. My God, I'm the queen of it. But sort of going off from the ways that you have been combating this sort of, dark and depressive sort of feeling, you've actually done something really cool recently. You started a Mia's Outfits Instagram. Can you tell us a bit about what inspired that and how it sort of all came about?
I've always been like quite a creative person. I did journalism at uni. I wouldn't say I've started my career yet, but I wasn't really doing much of a creative job when I was working. I was working within construction. I just really like to have a creative outlet. And since the pandemic, as I was saying, I was really struggling to kind of get out of bed, and like I wasn't doing anything. I mean, my parents would go to work, they'd come back and I'd still be in my pajamas. So I thought, I've got loads of clothes and I really enjoy like putting outfits together. I do really enjoy fashion, and at the moment we're not doing anything. So it's not even like I can wear a nice outfit and go out in it and all that kind of thing. Like, see my friends or have any reason to sort of like get dressed really. So I thought, why not just make an Instagram? I mean, it's always something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but I think I was just kind of scared what people would think, and I was scared of like people judging me and being like, oh, her outfits aren't nice, whatever. But I just thought like I should just do something for myself and not really care about what people think, because at the end of the day, I'm almost 26. So I mean, it's sort of like now or never in terms of just like letting go and not like caring what people think anymore. And it's quite liberating, I think, to be able to do something that you've wanted to do for a long time.
Definitely.
Yes, that's really why I've started it, just to give myself a bit of a boost. If I'm honest, I'm still not sure what I want to do. And I know it sounds like quite a late age, I don't know, to like not know what you want to do.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
I can join you in that club.
Yeah, literally. I feel like there's so much pressure when you're younger to just know what you want to do. And I don't think it's right. And
I don't think it's realistic, if we're being honest. I don't think it's realistic to ask a child what they want to be, unless if they had like clearly they're showing signs that they want to be an astronaut or a doctor or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, cool. You have a path,
Yeah. But it's just crazy how you have to make all these decisions so early on in life. I'm not really 100% sure what I want to do, but I do really enjoy like fashion and like media and that kind of thing. So I was thinking as well, whilst I'm not doing anything, whilst I'm not working, it might be quite good to have some sort of project that I've been working on, so that when I do come to apply for jobs and stuff, I know a lot of jobs now in like the media industry or fashion, they do ask for like your social media and stuff like that. So I was thinking potentially that would be a good thing to have, to say, okay, I haven't been working at the moment because I haven't been able to, but instead of just not doing anything, not saying you have to do something. If you don't want to do something, you don't have to, of course. But I just thought for me it would be good. I could, it's a bit of a talking point if they're like, so during the pandemic you haven't been able to work, what have you been up to? Well, I mean, I haven't really had a hobby. So
here we are. We're asking you already. So that's someone already asking, what you've been up to. So I think that's such a great idea. And also fashion is so, I think like you were saying, when you said you sort of were worried what people think, but the thing is fashion is so subjective, isn't it? Wait, is that the right word? Not objective. Yeah, subjective. Yeah. I've looked at so many outfits before and thought, that is goddamn awful, and it sells for thousands, and I'm like, okay, well, you know, fashion is what it is.
Someone likes it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of art. So I think that's great. And I think also because you said you're creative and you wanted something to help, you know, stimulate your mind and stuff, this is such a great thing. So I kind of wanted to go a bit more into it and ask, what's the process for you? Is there a process? So like you know, you post a photo every day or every couple of days or something. Is it literally like you've put on the outfit and you're like, right, I'll take a photo of this? Or are you actually thinking, what should I put on today? Where am I going to take the photo of this in? Like, what things go behind it, basically?
At the beginning, I wasn't really sure what I was going for, if I'm honest. I've always kind of envied people who are really good at planning ahead. And although I'm contradicting myself here, because I do like planning and I do like having an idea of what I'm doing, but at the same time, sometimes I struggle to kind of condense all my ideas, and I can get like quite overwhelmed by the smallest thing. So at the beginning I was kind of like, I don't know what like look I want to go for, kind of thing. And I was like, I do want to try and do something a bit different, because I know that there's loads of carbon copies out there of people who do a similar thing, and yeah, it's just all quite samey and like really perfect. So I kind of wanted to go for like, I'm not a perfect person and I don't want to pretend to be a perfect person either. So I just thought I'd kind of just go random, really. I mean, I've been trying out like a few like color themes and stuff and just seeing how that works. But I think as I continue to do it, I will get, you know, more of a feel of exactly how I want things to look. In terms of the outfits, I do plan them out. So I'll kind of get together a few different outfits on my bed, or I'll pick like a main colour and then I will like piece things around that and put like accessories with it and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's quite difficult at the moment because I don't really have anyone to take my pictures for me, like out and about. And I want to do like a combination of inside and outside pictures. So I have to kind of wait till weekends so I can go on a walk with my mum and she can take the picture for me, because I'm just not confident enough.
Is your mum good at that? I feel like my mum's awful at taking photos of me. I hate when she takes photos of me. It's horrible. Yeah. How does your mum take photos of you?
So at the beginning, she wasn't great. Like the angles were all off and everything, but I kind of taught her like, this is how I want it. And now she's actually so invested. It's so sweet. Like we'll go out and she'll be like, Mia, like that's a really good place, you could take a picture there. She's like, oh, you're gonna take a picture? Like she'll come to my room on the weekend, she'll be like, should we go on a walk, do you want to do a picture?
That's so lovely.
Standing there and I'm like, and now like, you know how you can put it on a live setting?
Yeah.
So then I can kind of move around and then go through and pick a movement. She didn't know what that was before, but now she does, and she's like, is it on live? Like, can I make sure it's on live? Because I remember before she took loads and I was like, was it on live? And she was like, what's that? But yeah, it's really sweet. She's like really invested in it. But I think she just sees that it's something that I'm, you know, passionate about and I like, and it's a little bit of a hobby for me. So I think she's like wants to boost me up and like support me on it. But
that's so lovely.
Yeah.
So you were saying before that your mindset has changed. You're feeling less like you care about what other people like think of it. Like has your previous mindset prevented you from doing things that you've wanted to do before? Yeah,
definitely. I'd say more in my younger years. I have a YouTube channel, and that's something that I started about a year ago. Yeah. And that was something that I probably would have wanted to do when I was younger, but just terrified, so scared. And I think it's understandable because, I mean, young people can be judgmental. I mean, I've been judgmental when I was younger, like, you know.
Yeah, it made me think of when we were at school, and I don't know if you remember this, but I started a YouTube channel because I wanted to sing, and so I recorded myself singing, and I didn't put my face up or anything. I think I was singing a Trey Songz song as well, or something, or Chris Brown, and it was just the whole thing's really embarrassing. But someone in the year below found it and just started commenting. I think it was anonymously or something, like these horrible like comments on my video.
Oh my god.
And I took it down immediately. I was like mortified that someone had found it. First of all, I was like, how on earth did they find it? But also like someone younger than me in the year below was just like completely ripping me for singing these songs. And I was like, right, I'm never doing that again. I literally vowed to myself I'm not doing that again.
Oh, I hate them for that.
Yeah, but in a way I'm kind of grateful because it could still be around today, and
I don't understand though. You said that your face wasn't in it.
No, so I just did an audio. No, so I literally just had like a picture of
Chris Brown,
Trey songs, yeah, and just me singing over the top of it. So embarrassing. But that definitely, I would say, just a small experience like that literally is insignificant to that person, put me off from like doing anything, putting anything out there. I'd second guess myself on even like posting a picture on Instagram. Like I would delete it, or like Facebook, whatever, or Bebo, like post a photo, like a new selfie, and you would like study it. Like I would study it for hours, being like going back to it and being like, oh, what does a new person looking at this, what would they think? And I'd like pick out all the flaws from it. Yeah. And I guess like now, like you said, being older, I don't think I care as much. Like I actually don't. Like before, I probably would have airbrushed out like a spot or something, and to be honest, now I don't really care as much. I probably, like, some pictures I would, but some days I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm tired, yeah, I've got a spot, whatever, I don't really care. And it's, yeah, maybe it's just with age, you just get older and you're just like, do you know what, if I keep caring about what other people think, am I going to do anything that actually makes me happy? I don't know, does anyone else feel like that?
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I mean, what you were saying about caring so much, like, and with age, if you stop caring, I definitely think you do, because I remember when I was younger just being so mortified by the smallest things that like my parents would do. Like if we were out and about and then my parents would be like, oh, look who's over there, and I'd be like, no. Whereas now, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's
why
fine.
do parents do that?
I know.
Like when I think about it, why did they do that? Say hello. I'm like,
I know, or like in the supermarket, like, isn't that person from your year group? And you're like, Mom, I'm not actually friends with them. Like, please stop. And they're like, look over there. Or if you say, Mom, there's someone from my year over there, and then they turn around so obviously, and they're like, oh my God, look. Like, yeah.
It's weird how you go from like being so embarrassed by your parents to now, like, I'd love to have a drink with my mum and dad. I think like I wouldn't be embarrassed by that at all. Like I would probably be, for some reason, I would be embarrassed going food shopping with my dad. And it's like, hang on, we live in the same house. Why would I not go shopping with my dad? Like there's nothing embarrassing about that, but I would be so self-conscious. I don't know why.
Yeah,
weird.
It's strange, isn't it? I think it's just obviously all those like teenage hormones and stuff. And you're just so aware of everything and just so self-conscious. I don't miss those days. Obviously you do still get self-conscious, like, of course. I still like, especially with having anxiety and stuff, I'm still like, oh, what do people think, all that kind of stuff, but it's definitely a lot less and it's more rational as well, whereas before it used to just be so irrational, like the smallest thing, and I'd be like, oh, but now I'm a bit more, I don't know, I guess mature.
So kind of bringing it back to the fashion stuff, what's your earliest memory of like getting into fashion and loving fashion?
So when I was like little, I don't think I wasn't that bothered. Just because my mum used to dress me and stuff. I mean, my parents have always been quite into like, not like fashion as in like they haven't had like a favorite designer and stuff, but they've always been, I don't know, quite trendy. Like I look back on pictures of them and I'm like, oh, they actually, they wore nice stuff. Like, yeah. And I've always sort of like gone into shops with my parents. They've like introduced me to like different brands when I was little and stuff. Probably when I was like, I mean, I never had any money as a teenager. I think most people don't really, do they? Unless I guess their parents give them money, but I never really had any money, so I'd sort of like save up for one thing and be really excited about it.
Mia was always at school, you were always on point, I would say, with like fashion, or like, there were like crazes at the time, right? So you'd have like one point, I don't know if it was in your school, Ree, but there was one point when everyone loved Jack Wills. And Mia was like the first one to get like the Jack Wills gilet, or like American Apparel, like they had like disco pants, and Mia was like one of the first ones to get those. And didn't you get a rucksack as well? And like no one used to wear, I remember, I'm really sorry, but I did take the mick out of you.
Yeah, everyone used to take the mick out of it. It was a big purple rucksack. To be honest, I don't know what I was thinking, but
no, it would, that's the thing, there's nothing embarrassing about it. But there was a thing about, my mum wouldn't let me have a handbag for ages, and I was like begging her to have a handbag and she was like, no, it's not good for your back if you're carrying all these books, right?
To be fair, it's true.
It is true, but to me that was so embarrassing. I was like, I was like literally begging her. I was like, I'll be the only one in our year with a rucksack. Like I was like, oh my god, like only the losers wear rucksacks. Like, oh my god, I'm a loser. But no, like you were so on point with the trends. I feel like, and like Jack Will's hoodies and everything, and I was just I had no clue about fashion whatsoever, and I always used to like we got the same hat at one point, I think from River Island or something. I remember being so happy because I was like, right, Mia's really fashionable, this is great.
I'm doing the right thing.
I've got something right. Yes.
I look back though on the stuff that I used to wear and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Like Paul's boutique bags.
Those were everywhere though, weren't they? I think I've said this on a previous episode. I feel like fashion didn't know what the hell it was doing back then. It was just a real like, I wouldn't even call it experimental because it wasn't like edgy experiment. It was just like here
gaudy. It was gaudy. It was kind of in your face. It was ugh. Also, when we were at school, you mentioned to like our friendship group that you wanted to be a TV presenter when you're older. I think you said for children's TV, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Is this still the case? Is that something you still want to do?
I mean, it's always been a massive dream of mine, but it's just obviously such a hard thing to get into. And I know that sounds like such a cop-out to say that something's too hard so I can't do it, because without sounding cringe, the sky's the limit. Like, you can obviously do whatever you want to do, of course. But yeah, I don't know, it's just really hard. I mean,
in an ideal world, like you know, everyone's got like a dream of what they would want to do. Say there were no boundaries in the way. Is that kind of the goal? Is that what you want to do?
Oh wow, really?
I'd love to be on like CBBC.
I can seriously, but I've always like imagined you there. Like I think that would really suit you.
Yeah.
And do you feel like YouTube is could be like a slight segue into that?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I know that there's other YouTubers and stuff who have got like contracts with kids TV and have done bits with kids TV and stuff. So yeah, I suppose so. But then obviously now I just think YouTube is such a saturated market, of course, and there are so many people competing and all trying to do the same thing. So I really do think it's a bit of potluck these days, with the algorithm as well. Like I've noticed before, I've put up videos and they've got loads of views and they've obviously ended up on loads of people's like homepage or whatever, but then sometimes you'll get a video and it's barely got any views, so it is kind of potluck. And yeah, it's just about getting like a lucky break and like a viral video, and then you just go from then, really. So I do think it is possible, definitely, to be spotted from social media. I mean, now I don't have TikTok, like I don't post on TikTok. I have it to like watch the videos and everything, but I know that it's really easy, not easy, but it's a lot easier because of the TikTok algorithm to like get
good.
Yeah, so I know that people have blown up on there for like the strangest reasons, and yeah, I think that would probably be a good place to get like noticed if you wanted to do something like that.
So you said like some of your YouTube videos have had more views than others. Is there like a topic of video that seems to do better than others?
The fashion hauls that I do, they tend to do quite well. They get like a few thousand views, but I think that's obviously because a lot of people, I mean, I used to, before I even started YouTube, if I wanted to like see what kind of things people were getting, see what's in fashion, and just I don't know, I think they're quite like fun to watch if you're interested in that kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's why, because it's sort of a niche in a way, so people know exactly what they're going on to search for, and then obviously I come up.
I guess that's like an algorithm thing again, isn't it? If you've put a certain clothing haul or like keywords in, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like clickbait, isn't it?
Yeah, clickbait, that's the word. Yeah, I was going to say it sort of goes along with that, doesn't it? So do you feel like with your clothing haul stuff, do you think that that's something that might transition over to Instagram, or the way that you piece things together on Instagram could potentially transition over to YouTube? So like maybe tutorials on putting outfits together and how you do your Mia's outfit stuff. Do you think that those might combine at all?
Yeah, so I was actually speaking to my boyfriend's sister the other day, and she was like, I really think that you should do some YouTube videos about how you take your photos for your Instagram, and you know, how you plan things out and everything like that. So I think that is definitely something that I'll consider, because I think that would be quite an interesting video, and also like it links the two, as you said, and like it might boost engagement for like, you know, either way, to be honest, because there are people who subscribe to me on YouTube who have followed my Instagram and vice versa. So I do think that, you know, it's good to have like sort of like a linked thing, and like a common theme throughout like all my social media.
I think people would be interested to see as well how you do. I'm interested in seeing it, because obviously, you know, when we look at your photos, I'm like, cool, like what she's wearing. But it's kind of, I'm someone who loves being nosy and being behind the scenes, knowing how you got to that point. So I think that'd be quite cool, as someone who is subscribed to your channel and likes watching your content. I think that would be quite a cool thing. Something I also wanted to go off is one of your photos I remember commenting on, and you said it was from a charity shop. And I wondered, is that a common theme for you, like being conscious towards fashion, like fast fashion anyway? I know obviously you've done clothing hauls for certain videos, but are you quite conscious of things that you're buying, especially if you've already got quite a few clothes, and obviously if you're not wearing them? Is that something that you sort of take into consideration as well?
So yeah, this is definitely something that I consider more as I've got older and become much more conscious of. I mean, I'm trying now to buy more staple pieces and things that I can, you know, keep re-wearing. I mean, I do have stuff already. Like I bought a puffer coat 2 years ago, and I wear it most days. Like I absolutely love it. And I think it's important. I mean, it is hard to be, you know, to stay away from fast fashion, especially if you don't have that much money, just because I know that there's loads of independent brands and stuff that I follow. They sort of like make things to order and stuff like that, but it can be quite pricey. And although they're gorgeous pieces, it can be quite pricey, so it's difficult. But that is something that I want to kind of steer more towards. I do use Depop a lot. Quite a lot of my stuff is secondhand. Cool. Although it's from fast fashion brands originally,
right?
I buy quite a lot of stuff secondhand, and I do have quite a lot of stuff from charity shops as well. But that is something that I will definitely be incorporating more once the pandemic is over, because obviously you can't go into charity shops at the moment. But I do definitely think it's important, 100%. And you know, I think as I was young, like when I was younger, I was a lot more sort of frivolous, and I'd buy things, sort of wear it once, and like that would be it. Like you'd never see it again, kind of thing.
I think we all did, didn't we? So one of your YouTube videos that really caught my attention, just because I can feel like I can relate so much to it, was you talking about your hair journey with curls, like having curly natural hair. And I wanted to know sort of how it all started for you. Was it hard to embrace having naturally curly hair? And also, did you feel like there was a lack of accessible information about how to maintain having curly hair?
Yeah, so I started straightening my hair when I think I turned 18. For my 18th birthday, I got it like chemically straightened. And it was sort of the first time I was allowed, really, because my parents didn't want me to do it. Like they didn't want me to ruin my natural hair. But then they were like, you're 18, like you can decide. Actually, no, sorry, maybe I was 16.
I think we were at school together.
Yeah, no, I think I was 16. That's when I first chemically straightened it for my birthday. But before that, I'd straightened my hair like a few times, but not really. I mean, I didn't own straighteners until I think maybe year 9 or year 10. But I remember borrowing yours, Jess. I remember coming around to yours and you'd straighten my hair. Yeah. So, I mean, growing up, I did obviously have my curly hair, but I never really felt like I fitted in with it because not that many people around me had it.
Right. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt really weird having curly hair at school. And it was like people, do you have this where people want to touch your hair?
Yeah.
I find that really fucking weird. Because I would never go up to someone with straight hair and be like, wow, so straight.
Yeah. I know.
To me.
I remember one time I was on the bus, I was going to my grandma's house and my hair was all out and curly, and there was this old lady sitting behind me and I started to feel someone pulling on my hair, and the old lady was touching my hair, and I was like,
an old lady?
Yeah, it's this old lady. She was like, it's just so beautiful. And I was like,
that's
what? Like,
that's exactly what I've had happen. I remember when I was a kid at school, this happened at primary school. I was walking with I think I was walking in front of my dad, and some mum came up behind me and grabbed my hair in front of my dad. And I think my dad was just like, okay, like,
get off my kid.
Yeah, but I think he kind of like laughed off because I don't think he got what was happening, but I don't think anyone did. But she was just like, it's so beautiful, and I was just like, It was just
not okay
weird,
to just go and touch someone.
No.
it's not okay to follow it up by saying it's because it's so beautiful. It's like, so
Yeah.
it's mine.
Exactly. It's no excuse really. Like, you can't just go and touch someone like without permission. It's very it's very, very strange. I had straight hair from the age of 16 to 25. Yeah, to this age. Yeah, at the beginning of the pandemic, I obviously used to get my hair straightened like every 3 months for like the regrowth, and I hadn't had it done since, I think it was about October. So I had quite a lot of regrowth coming through, and then obviously we went into first lockdown. I actually, for the past few years, I'd wanted to go back to curly, but it was just that whole thing of when you transition your hair, it doesn't look great. It's quite difficult to manage. Yeah, I had to go to work every day, and I still wanted it to be like tidy and, you know, not half straight, half curly. But then obviously I was at home constantly, and then I just started to think, you know what, why not? Like, why not go back to curly hair? Like, I wanted to do it. So I spoke to my mum about it, and she, of course, was like, yeah, like, Mia, your hair is so beautiful. Yes. Then I just started to transition. This is where I am now. I mean, it doesn't look good right now. It's kind of embarrassing. But it's like, it's come a long way.
So you didn't start straightening your hair then until you were 16, you said. So for me, I was straightening my hair all the time when I was at secondary school because I just didn't like standing out with having really curly hair. But also I felt like I didn't know how to manage it. Like, I feel like there was no information about how to look after curly hair. All of the adverts we saw with the L'Oreal kids, with the L'Oreal women and everything, it's long, straight hair, or it's blow drying in that, you know, like the loose curl, like the volume looking thing. You would never see someone really with really curly hair, whether it was like tight ringlets or like spiral sort of stuff. And I just wondered if you already had like that knowledge of how to manage your hair, or you just sort of suppressed it and didn't even think about it. You just got on with having curly hair sort of thing before then. Because for me, the way I did it was just like, right, I'm straightening it so no one has to tell. And then it would rain. And I'd be like, great, now everyone.
What do you mean, just as someone who has straight wavy hair, what does managing mean? Do you mean as in like, to make it look it's the best it can,
example,
or
the way that you would look after your hair, you would probably brush it, right? Like normal. I would never brush my hair unless if I'm washing it.
Yeah,
like,
unless it's wet.
Yeah, so I would never just brush my hair because
of frizz, or
that's not how you sort of like look after it. It's better to do it when it's wet and conditioned and stuff like that. But also drying our hair, like, I don't know about you, Mia, but I use a diffuser because so I can't just put a hair, like how you would, like with a hairdryer, it would just dry your hair as it's meant to. But like with a diffuser, it keeps your curls in place.
Yeah, it doesn't like blow out your curls when.
I don't even know what a diffuser looks like.
Hang on, hang on, viewers. It looks like this. So for anyone watching or looking, so
you attach that to your
you put this
hairdryer.
Yeah, and so I would then, and you put it like that, and it dries it like this. So that's how. So like my hair has been blow drying today, but like as in with a diffuser. So it has these little. There you go. You can see it a bit better there. So it has these bits that sort of diffuse it. But yeah, so I had to learn about that in my 20s. In my teens, if I wanted my curly hair, I would either go to the beach or I'd leave my hair wet and not touch it. And that's kind of dangerous in the UK because you could get a cold, you know. And so I would either just tie my hair back or I would straighten it. So I just wondered if you had already known about all of these things to manage having curly hair, or you had sort of been told it before, you had to figure it out like I did.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely something that I've had to teach myself like this time round. I used to know like the sort of basics because like I did obviously have curly hair for like a long time and throughout my teens, but yeah, I didn't really know how to manage it. Like, for example, I'd use sort of the same shampoos and stuff that like people with straight hair would use to get their hair sleek and straight, thinking that it would make my hair sleek, like, you know, like nice, like sleek curls, whatever. But no, it didn't. I mean, but I think there is a lot more like stuff on YouTube and just in general now. I mean, I still think we've got a long way to go in terms of like representation on TV and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I do think we do. I mean, you still just the main adverts that you see are always going to be like I don't know, like dream lengths, like soft, sleek, like sleek, silky hair. And that's the kind of stuff I, like you, I'm sure, used to watch when you were younger and just think, oh yeah, I just want my hair to be like that, like everyone else.
It's quite confusing, I feel, as well, like when you're looking at some other hair and knowing that you can't. I remember, you know, like obviously when your hair's wet and you brush it, it appears straight before it pings back up.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I made it straight naturally, like the adverts, and then it would ping back up. I was like, oh, why did that happen? And it's very confusing as a little kid for that to happen. And I feel like as an adult, again, through social media, I feel like I only have learned how to do this, like you said, through YouTube tutorials and Instagram. Instagram's been like my best friend for this, because I follow a lot of women who have hair like us, like curly hair and volume to their hair, and some of them are for managing curly hair. Like I think there's one I follow called, I think it's like Curly Girls or something like that, and they literally they plug like products to use, they give you techniques. That's how I learned to get a diffuser, like how to sort of cut better sort of ways into your hair and stuff, because I've been cutting my hair during quarantine. You know, stuff like that. So I just wondered if you sort of happen to follow those sort of things or find those things through coming back to having your natural curly hair.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I also follow like quite a lot of curly hair Instagrammers and stuff like that, and I feel as well it's really motivating to kind of see people whose hair is super healthy and like the way they look after it and everything, and think that will be me soon. I mean, I feel like I've still got quite a long way to go. I mean, my hair's not nearly as like voluminous and everything like that, like how it used to be when I was younger. But yeah, I just remembered actually something really sweet happened the other day. This girl from, I think she's from New York, she messaged me on Instagram. She was like, I've just seen your video about like your transition and stuff, and she's like, I want to transition. And she sent me like loads of videos and pictures of her hair, and she was saying how she's like, at the moment she's doing online school, so she thinks it's a good time to do it. And like she was like, do you have any tips and stuff? So we were just voice noting, and I was like, make sure you like send me pictures of your transition, like your whole transition process. I can help you, because I know that it's hard sometimes. I mean, I've literally been going through points where I've been like, it's not working, like it's taking too long, it's just difficult, and I've been like, oh, I just want to straighten it. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that I haven't. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've straightened it a couple of times, I have, because it's still nice to have straight hair. It's nice to have versatility. I think that's what I like now. If I want to straighten my hair, I can, but also I have it natural and it's healthy and everything. Whereas before it was just one option and it was just straight. And to be honest, I don't think it looked that great because it wasn't healthy. So that just made me really happy that like girl reached out to me, because I was like, I've made like a little bit of a difference, even if one person sees. That's why I made that video, really, because I was like, this is what I want to see and this was what would have helped me. And I don't know, it made me feel a bit like nostalgic almost, because I was like, when I was younger I would have loved to watch somebody older and like, you know, get their help with that. And yeah, I just found it really sweet.
When we were at school, I remember a girl in the year below messaging you who has very curly natural hair and was like, what do you do? And she was asking you for advice. So I feel like it's kind of come full circle, and like someone else is reaching out for advice. You're a bit of a hair inspiration.
Definitely. It's cool though. It's cool knowing that there are other people who have similar hair to you. It's like you said, it's the representation thing, isn't it? I think like I've only ever had my hair cut by one person, which is my mum's best friend, my whole life, and that's because I fear ever going to a hairdresser, because I'm like, I've only ever seen your adverts for, or, you know, the women come out of your hair with the same sort of hair. And so I'm like, I don't think you know how to cut curly hair, because there is a technique. So it's sort of
100%. I mean, I can relate to that. I used to just want to kind of go to the same hairdressers as everyone else. So I'd go to places like, I don't know, Headmasters and stuff. And obviously no shade to Headmasters, but they used to like straighten my hair first and then cut it. And like, then I'd kind of just be like, okay, well, that doesn't look great, because now I've got like a sort of like triangle, like it didn't look good.
Right.
You know, like with curly hair, you have to cut it like in a certain way. And I got my first curly haircut actually, like just, when was it? I think it was June when we were
really want to do one. I really, there's it's a friend of a friend's actually opened up it's called the Curl Bar in London.
Oh yeah, I've seen that on Instagram.
Yeah, she's friends with one of my friends, and I just love everything about that, but I think it's just a bit pricey for me. So I'm sort of like, okay, I'll wait.
Yeah.
But
It can be really expensive. But I don't know, I kind of see now my hair as a bit of like an investment. So yeah, I mean, once you get a cut, I think you can grow it out for like a long time sort of thing, like if you get that shape. But again, I think a good thing is I've sort of been snipping my own hair now, because I see like straight bits and I just cut it off because I'm like, it doesn't matter, like it's all just going to be one thing anyway. Whereas when my hair was straight, obviously I wouldn't just be able to like cut chunks out of it.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess it's kind of good.
Do you think you might add the hair element as well to the Mia's outfits, because like hair's a cool thing to sort of accessorize with outfits, and also the way that you style it. So do you think you might do more with hair on your
maybe eventually, probably not at the moment, just because it is still in its like transitioning sort of period. So there are some days when I'm like, wow, I can't deal with this, and I just sort of slick it back. So yeah, maybe eventually, because I know that there's quite a lot of curly like hair Instagrammers, and they are sort of fashiony as well at the same time. So yeah, perhaps I will do that.
So do you have any long-term goals for Mia's outfits? Are you just seeing how it goes?
I mean, for now it is just a hobby. I haven't sort of set it up to be anything. Like, you know, if I did start to kind of gain a following on it, that would be amazing. But for now, I think it's just sort of like maintaining my hobby, I guess, and just
being consistent, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Because with my YouTube, I kind of like, I used to do it when I was still working. So I'd work like Monday to Friday, and I do my YouTube on the weekend. And I used to get myself quite stressed out about it. I'm not sure why, because it's not like it was my job or anything, but
I was the same way.
I have to upload, like I have to be consistent, and then I kind of just like slipped off that. But I think with Instagram it is a bit easy. Well, yeah, it is definitely easier, because although there's quite a lot that goes into taking the picture, you have to obviously go out, you know, find somewhere to take it, organize your outfit and everything like that. And I know for people who obviously, I don't know, are influencers and do Instagram full time, it is like, you know, it's quite a big thing. I think people don't really realize, not saying that I do, but I think that you know, you can kind of look at a picture and not realize how much goes into it. So I think that obviously Instagram is a lot easier for me to kind of maintain, because it's just like, especially how, as I said, mine's a bit, you know, messy and not perfect, so I can kind of get away with uploading things that aren't like perfect. But yeah, I mean, it's just a hobby for now, so yeah, I'm not going to stress myself out too much about it.
Good.
So we ask all of our guests to tell us what makes up your circle. What is important to you in your life?
Oh, this is a hard question. There's just so much. Well, I mean, of course, my family. I feel like as I've got older, I've definitely got closer to my family, like my immediate family. And yeah, that's really important to me. And like my dog and my cats, my pets. My dog Bo, I absolutely love him, and like he obviously gets me out every day on a walk, which is lovely. And then yeah, my boyfriend and my friends, and yeah.
So can you tell us a bit more about the small business that you wanted to talk about today?
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's JBS Life Coaching.
Yeah, so my boyfriend's sister, she set up a life coaching business. She's honestly like such an inspirational person. Like she's just so uplifting and so lovely, and she always, but especially throughout the pandemic, always checks up on everyone, make sure they're all okay. So she's basically set up a life coaching business where she just kind of helps you lay out your goals and, you know, coaches you, mentors you, all through Zoom and stuff at the moment because of the pandemic, and phone calls, and just, you know, can make sure that everything's on track. And obviously it's quite hard for everyone at the moment, or a lot of people, I know certainly myself, don't really know what they're doing and where they want to move to. So she kind of just helps you figure out what you want to do and where you want to go with your life. Yeah, so I just really wanted to promote that because she's just great, and she's always uploading really like nice inspirational quotes on Instagram and stuff. So it's just a nice person to follow if you want to see something uplifting.
So what is her Instagram?
At Jordan Brooke Smith.
Okay.
And then her website is www.jbslifecoaching.com.
Great. Okay, we'll put that on the screen so everyone can follow and support. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you for coming today, Mia. Thank you for joining us in our circle. And hopefully you'll come back again.
Yeah.
And we can discuss more.
yeah, hopefully there'll be some more updates. Hopefully life would have got a little bit better for everyone.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, all right then. Well, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our podcast. You can listen to us on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And see you in the next episode.
Bye.